Hi 8th grade. Welcome to distance learning. It's our first video. Hopefully it goes well. Today we're going to be starting a new chapter, chapter 9. And we're going to begin with a warm-up. If you take a look at these, make sure your notes are out. If you want to use graph paper, that would probably be helpful since we will be graphing. If you need to pause it to get ready, please do so. If you remember from past chapters, we can graph the equation by using a coordinate plane and a table, an XY table. We substitute in -2 for x to find the y. If you've done that, you found that when x is -2, y is -1. When x is -1, y was -4. When x was 0, y was -7. When x was 1, y is -10. And when x was 2, y was -13. To graph that, we graph our table. Okay, these are the coordinates that we graph. So -2 on the x and -1 for y. -1, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Zero, -7, it's going to be down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 and 10. I think it's about here. Might be one off. 2 and 13. About here. Okay, so if we were to connect the line, it would look something like this, which is an old lesson, just reviewing it. Today, we're going to be moving on to quadratics. So in your notes, please copy down the examples that we do together. Make sure at the end that you take a picture of the notes that you've copied and send those to me along with the homework. All right, so graphing quadratic functions. The graphs of quadratic functions are parabolas. Parabolas look like a U shape. They can go up, they can go down, they can go sideways. The point where they start and go from is called the vertex. At that location, you get the line of symmetry. So from that, they should be the same on both sides. The line of symmetry, that's what cuts it in half. Let's try one. If we're going to graph the function using a table, we need to come up with the x and y values. When we did this before, we used -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. We substitute in -2, When x is negative 2, that's negative 2 squared, which is a positive 4, right? Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Substitute a negative 1, we get 1. When we substitute 0, we get 0. When we substitute positive 2 squared, we get 4. And when we substitute 1, we get 1. So when we had negative 2, we got 4. Negative 1 was 1. 0 was 0. 1 and 4. When we graph this, negative 2, up 4. Negative 1, up 1. 0, 0. 1, 1. 2, 4. Connect them. The parabola looks like this. Easy enough? You try. Graph using a table. Y equals x squared plus 4. Pause it, come back when you're ready. You should have got x was negative 2, y was 8. When x was negative 1, y was 5. When x was 0, we got 4. 1, it was 5, and 2, it was 8. And when you graph that, it looks like this. You'll notice that both these two examples that we did together were parabolas going up, and that's not always the case. We're going to try one now that doesn't. Here's our next example. When we sub in, we'll be subbing in 2 places, so we need to keep track of the math and be careful. So I noticed that there aren't repeats in my table like the last ones. So we're going to graph it and take a look at what we have. -2 and +6. Uh-oh, these are big numbers, huh? Count by twos going that way, okay? -2 and 6 will be 2, 4, 6. -1 and 4, 0 and -2. 1 and -12. 2, and 2 and -26. If we connect these, we seem to only have half of it. Okay, so if we put in -3, since we started at -2 for an x, y equals, -2 times -3 squared minus 8. If we substitute in to C, our math will look like -2 times 9 plus 24 minus 2, which is -18 plus 22, which is 4. So -3, 2, 3, and +4 means that this is our vertex here, and we're coming back around. So where these are will be our other side, okay? Let's see. Okay, we don't even have to plot the points. We need to make sure that we have the vertex so that we can show the parabola. This one was facing down. You guys ready to try one? Here's your next you try. I've left you a hint. Y equals -x squared plus 3. So you need to start with your xy table. I've written it in a hint as a separate. I would separate your negative from your number so that when you have -2 to substitute in, you don't mix up where the negatives go. So I would leave a -1 outside as you sub in for your different numbers. Go ahead and pause it and try this. When you do the math, when you substitute in for -2, you should get -7. -1, you should get -4. For 0, you should get -3. And 1, you should get -4. 2, -7. And when you plot this, you'll see you have doubles already in. So you've got the perfect parabola with your vertex. If you need to review the examples, you should. If you're feeling ready for homework, here it is. On page 550, We're going to be doing numbers 23 through 26 odd. Check your answers in the back of the book. Send me a picture when you finish your notes and your homework. I need 2 separate pieces from you. Make sure that everything is seen. So if you've crammed it all on one page, make sure I can read it. And if you've used 5 different pieces of paper, please make sure I can see all of that. Thanks, guys.